In 2022, Netflix realized 100 million households were using their service without paying a single cent. In 2016, Netflix was the cool friend with an open door. CEO Reed Hastings famously said, "We love people sharing Netflix, whether it was 2 people on a couch or 10. In 2017, the company even tweeted, "Love is sharing a password." For years, this wasn't just a friendly gesture, it was a growth hack. By letting users share accounts, Netflix spread like wildfire across the globe, building a massive, loyal user base without the friction of a paywall. But by 2022, the party was over. The growth hack had become a financial liability. Netflix hit a wall, reporting its first subscriber loss in over a decade in the first quarter of 2022, with 200,000 users gone. The company realized that a staggering 100 million households worldwide were freeloading, about 30 million of those in the US. Alone, in 2022, this amounted to an estimated $79 million in lost revenue. At the same time, the cost of creating content was skyrocketing. In 2021, they spent $17.7 billion on content and $16.8 billion in 2022, with rivals like Disney Plus and HBO Max eating into their market share. Netflix's global demand for original content dipped below 40% for the first time in the final quarter of 2022. They had a choice of keep bleeding cash or force the freeloaders to pay. They chose a pivot. Netflix redefined the Netflix household as a collection of devices connected to the internet at the main place you watch. This was a hard reversal of the sharing is caring era, but they didn't just flip a switch. They started with a beta test in early 2022 in Latin America, specifically Costa Rica, Chile, and Peru. They saw an initial reaction of cancellations, but they also saw a healthy conversion of borrower households into full-paying memberships. This data gave them the confidence to scale. The rollout was a symphony. In the first quarter of 2023, they introduced the buy an extra member option in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain. Then, on May 23, 2023, the crackdown hit the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and over 100 other countries. To enforce, Netflix used sophisticated tech IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity. If you were accessing the account from outside the main household, you were hit with a one-time verification code sent to the primary account holder. You had 15 minutes to enter it, or you were locked out. To soften the blow, Netflix offered an escape hatch. If you were on a standard or premium plan, you could add an extra member from outside your household for a fee, $79 a month in the US. They also introduced Transfer Profile, allowing a borrower to move their viewing history and recommendations to a new account they paid for themselves. The gamble paid off. In the first quarter of 2024, Netflix added 933 million new customers, nearly doubling the 484 million predicted by analysts. By March 31, the company hit a record high of 269.6 million paid subscribers. The financial impact was immediate. In that same quarter, they brought in $933 billion in sales, beating the expected $926 billion, and saw a $233 billion growth in net income. CEO Greg Peters noted that while they lost some viewership from non-payers, the core engagement remained healthy. The crackdown proved that the addressable market of freeloaders was even larger than they thought. But the victory came with a shift in transparency. Having squeezed the growth out of the password crackdown, Netflix announced it would stop reporting quarterly subscriber numbers and revenue per subscriber starting in the first quarter of 2025. The era of the growth story was over. They were now in the era of monetization.